Welcome to Say Like a Champ, episode 257. It's your boy A-Dub.
And your boy Strizzy, what's going on, SLAC family? Was cracking.
Man, we are back. Another edition of Say Like a Champ. 257 weeks in a row, and before you know it, man, we'll be at 300. It's been a wild ride. It's been pretty crazy, but also I was thinking about it a little bit. It was 2019. It was basically the Tuesday before the NFL season in 2019. So we're talking like September 1st or 2nd, 2019 when we first started. And we just popped up on Marcus at his studio. It was just like, all right, we're going to do this right now. We're going to make this happen. And decided, from there, we're just going to keep going every single week. COVID was a blessing in disguise, I think, a little bit for us because we, it made it a little bit easier to facilitate meeting every week, by going virtual and been going strong ever since. So I just want to thank you, my brother, as always, for rocking with me.
Always.
And also the slackers out there. Yeah, absolutely.
It's easy.
For sure. It's always fun. It's like, it's so crazy how like we've kind of really been doing episodes of Say Like a Champ like for way longer than that, because we would just like be heading home from work and like chop it up for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, sometimes an hour in the parking lot, like literally like on our way home, like, what I'm saying, before hopping in traffic. So it's cool that we get to, kind of like capture and document these conversations in these different moments in sports. So super dope, man. I appreciate you. And as always, big shout out to our brother Marcus for all of his support, for sure.
Definitely.
All right, we got some people in the building already. Moms, happy Tuesday. We got Kelly as well. We got Miss Stephanie Washington. Hey, y'all. We got Anthony Wesson in the building as well. And also we've got Pops. So welcome into our crew. We appreciate you. And keep the comments coming. And then if you're listening later on, don't be afraid to drop some comments or hit the like, subscribe on your podcast feed. We appreciate all of that. Strizzy, before we get going, man, how you been doing? Any updates on your side before we roll through?
No, nothing necessarily new. You know what I mean? With the office today, I got that was like 3 times a year. You know what I mean? It's really just a matter of just like when my team gets together for something. But aside from that, nothing too crazy. Same old. Watching a little bit of the basketball for the Olympics. Oh, I will say this though. I know we're gonna get to that point, but shout out to my homie Promise Amukamara, man, and the Nigeria team winning their first Olympic game in 20 years, dog. Like that was a huge deal. A really big deal from them. Like, it's not her first Olympics. These are second Olympics, but it's like I said, the first game they've won. You know what I'm saying? In 20 years, something like that. So hats off to some of my people. And I know Prince and Kings, they're actually there. They're in France right now. They're in Paris right now. That's actually really, really cool. They got to go watch the game, but hats off to them. They were super hyped, super psyched about it. So congrats to them winning their first game. It was dope.
That's tight. Yeah, and they beat Team Australia, who's usually pretty good in the women's basketball. So that's what's up. That's super dope. Oh, and Mom giving you a shout out there for what you're going to get an opportunity to do, the fashion show.
Yeah. Thanks, Mom. Appreciate you.
That's what's up. Yes, that is definitely exciting. But we'll use that. Let's springboard right into Olympics. We're going to talk Olympics, and definitely big shout out to Promise. And the whole Amakamura family is like pretty legit athletes, like in like their whole family. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to them though. It's pretty crazy that they
man, she had a good game too. She had like 14 points, 9 assists, and I think 6 boards or something like that. So she actually had I think it was like her best game ever too. Like she had a really good game, on top of them winning. So again, hats off to them. For
sure. That's major. And yeah, we'll just springboard right into the Olympics, which we haven't really I don't think ever started with the Olympics as well. But we always get this like fever going on and a little bit more of that national pride, right? When you see your team, your country's colors up there, we want to win all the gold. So we'll do the medal tracker in a little bit, but it was pretty cool seeing Team USA come in on the boat. And I didn't really see all of the opening ceremonies. I know there was like a little bit of controversy, but I did think that the boats, like the teams coming down the river, was pretty gangster. But I was almost thinking Team USA's boat was like too full. Like I'll be nervous on there.
Yeah.
No
crazy cool. That's a lot of people on that boat. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the max capacity on this thing? You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to go under.
Yeah, exactly. Can you imagine? All the swimmers would be fine, But you know what I'm saying?
Right?
Can you imagine though all of America's athletes? Like I don't know why that thought crossed through my head. Just maybe being paranoid all the time. But I was like, dang, it's a lot of people vote. But it was pretty cool. And then also, of course, the Eiffel Tower, which is the big icon for the Olympics, a big icon for Paris, heavily in there. So that's super dope. Team USA is doing their thing so far with a couple things of the most notably the gold in gymnastics, team gymnastics this morning. That brings Simone Biles up to 8 Olympic medals, which is the most ever in gymnastics history, men's or women's. So the most decorated gymnast, and Team USA obviously coming through with the team, which is pretty dope to see how the team all contributes, right? And last night was the pommel horse guy, which he was pretty cool, but he seemed pretty stressed. I don't know if you saw his or any of the slackers saw his little story, but he basically had to wait around all day, and it was like the last event, right? And Team USA, I think, was like in 5th or something like that, but if they got like basically like a near 10, then they would be able to go jump up in contention, and he came through, did an almost perfect run, and they got bronze. So shout out to that. Anthony Weston, he mentioned women's gymnastics was awesome. And it's cool that they start off with the team event, so you get a little bit of a flavor of everybody, but they still have the individuals coming up. So Simone Biles can earn even more gold medals potentially coming up. So she's definitely the GOAT. And we were talking about it before. She's kind of like the new, I guess, the Michael Phelps of these next couple of Olympics. You know, where there's always like one Olympian that everybody knows and is like the Wheaties poster child. She's definitely it right now, and it's cool to see her bounce back after her trouble in Tokyo.
Yeah, for sure. No, she's a beast, man. She's absolutely monstrous what she does. I saw something that the top amount of air she got with, I think one of the the backflip something she got was like, I can't remember what it was, but basically it was like over, was it 12 feet or something like that? She got in the air or something crazy.
Yeah,
like, which is insane, man. That's so high. You know what I mean? Like not using one of the poles or a balance beam. Like that's crazy. And she's like 4 feet something. Like she's a tiny woman. So that's insane.
Yeah, most definitely. It is really impressive to see what they do, and it's kind of cool because like some of these sports, like you just wouldn't think about. Like Anthony said, most interesting is like handball, and we definitely follow like our top 3 sports, really our top 2, football, basketball, but we throw some baseball in there, a little bit of hockey, but it's like these are like those more obscure talents that get a chance to shine every 4 years, so it is pretty cool. Kelly says she loves watching gymnastics and swim. I think, as you all are coming in, just make sure, please do share what you guys have been watching so far and any of your favorite stories. But one thing I want to comment on is like the coverage has not been so great for me so far. I don't know if it's NBC. I don't know if it's the schedules. It's too much to keep up with. I don't know if it's the time difference. But every time I want to watch something, it's like it happened 4 hours ago. Or like, either that or it's like it's not for like 4 days, and I'm like, oh, I'm definitely not going to remember. And it's like at some random time. So,
I know. What are your thoughts on that? Yeah, no, you're so right, dude. And I've been kind of the same way. I feel like the only reason why I've even caught like some of the, the men's or women's basketball games because I'm betting on them. So I know, it tells me what time they're going on. So if I didn't have FanDuel, I'd miss everything. You know what I'm saying? So
I feel you.
Man, I'm with you on that.
Anthony West says I have Peacock, so I'm getting everything. And I did want to check out on the app coverage, like if you can just go back and watch whatever, because there's definitely a few things I want to be able to see, but I'm having trouble keeping up with it so far, and it's only been like one weekend. So
can't get nothing live.
Yeah. All right, let's do the medal count. This might have changed, but as of a couple hours ago so far, the medal count, United States is actually leading. If you look at overall medals, France, the host nation, is in second, and then China in third. But actually Japan, who sits just outside of this, they have 7 gold medals so far. So even though they don't have as many medals, they have the most gold. So so that's super dope, though. Definitely hoping United States comes through, and I hope they get the most gold. But at least as long as they get the most total overall, we'll take that.
Yeah.
We'll put it up there however it makes it best for the U.S.
I'm saying.
Total. 70 watches it. They're showing live during the day and then show it again at night during prime time for a lot of the major events. Got you. Okay. So it's like I'm having trouble like being between that window of like seeing it live or waiting for the replay. So Anthony Weston said, shout out to Kazakhstan with 3 medals. Borat would be proud for sure. Kazakhstan's sneaky though. From watching like UFC and boxing for sure, we see they do have a lot of athletes actually, even for a small country. So that's what's up. Stephanie Washington also following on the Peacock app on my phone and TV at the same time. So that's what's up. Kelly said, when's breaking? I'm excited to see how they judge. So I don't know when breaking is, but one thing that's cool is on NBC, the guy that breaks down like the election and he breaks down like the playoff race and everything like at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And he goes through all the odds. He made videos on like how each event is judged, and there's one for breaking. So check that out on the NBC YouTube. You can see him show exactly how they're going to judge the breakdancing. So we'll see. And Anthony Wesley says, yeah, the next Olympics is in LA. That'll be pretty dope, man. Maybe by then we'll go out there and write something off as like under SLAC and ENT. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that by that time we'll go cover something. That would be super dope. All right. Also, speaking of the Olympics, of course, the ones that we're watching the closest are, like you said, tracking on FanDuel. We got Team USA women's and men's basketball, and the women definitely dominated Japan. They were just too much, and they're going for their 8th straight gold medal. I think they're like 53-0 in the last like however many Olympics. Yeah. So they are who we want Team USA to be on the men's side, but they had a great opening game against Serbia. How are you feeling about the men's basketball showing so far?
It was huge. Yeah, I think one of the biggest things was like we got KD back. I think that was huge. He started off, I think 8 for 8, 5 for 5 from the 3-point line or something like that, and 3 for 3 from the regular field. He was just an absolute monster. I was just gonna touch on that too. I always talk about like Jason Tatum being he just reminds me of just another kind of Carmelo Anthony, but in my opinion he's not even as good as Carmelo. I feel like when it comes to like being an actual bucket and just really being like one of the strongest one-on-one type players, I feel like Carmelo was a lot stronger than that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, he is a really good player. He's definitely a part of the NBA's future. You know what I mean? But it is kind of weird that he like Steve Kerr apologized and said like basically like he forgot about him. Like I don't know how that happens. You know what I mean? It's like no minutes at all. You know what I'm saying? Like you're up 20. You didn't think to yourself, "Who I got on my bench I can throw in there real quick." You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
So I felt like that was a little kind of just just more circus type crap. You know what I mean? That didn't really need. But I was happy to see that we not only beat a really good team, but we beat them by 20. You know what I'm saying? So that was a little reassuring for me, and hopefully we can continue on with that. And hopefully knock on wood, everyone stays healthy. And
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just glad KD's back. You know what I mean?
Me too. Yeah, tomorrow is the game versus South Sudan, which I think that'll be an interesting, indication of how they're doing because they did play them and basically almost lost, should have lost to them, less than 2 weeks ago, right? So I think it'll be interesting to see how they play against them. But I agree with you as far as Tatum not getting any minutes is kind of weird. But also I'm questioning Steve Kerr, which we've been doing that a little bit more because – he kind of came out right after and was like, "Oh, I feel like an idiot. I don't even know."
Yeah.
Kind of like he forgot about him. And then later on, he was like, "Oh, well, we looked at Serbia's lineup and, there was only so many minutes for the rotations and the matchups we wanted." And it was like, and it was almost like, oh, they had talked to him. He kind of was aware that he wasn't going to play. So I'm like, which is it? You know what I'm saying?
Nah, that's BS, man. You look at Jason Tatum's face, his body language. Nah, bro, he wasn't told nothing. On top of that, too, Serbia's a really big team. Like their shooting guards are like 6'5", 6'6". Like they're a big team. So, in my opinion, to think that Jason Tatum's not gonna get any playing time when Derek White got a bunch of, and so did Drew. I know from his perspective, it's like, dang, like my teammates are getting more playing time than me, and I can't even get in for a little bit. So I don't know. I don't know. I just think that it was going to be like, they didn't even, don't get me wrong. They interview assistant coaches all the time, especially for this one. But like at halftime, they didn't even it was Spo that did the interview. It wasn't even
Kerr.
So I don't know, man. Like it's just, I know, like I said, like nobody gives Steve Kerr more shit as a coach, not as a not even being as a coach than I do. But I'm with you. Like I'm an idiot. I can't believe I didn't do that. And all of a sudden, oh well, I talked to him prior. Nah, dude, his face said none of that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you could tell he was frustrated, he was irritated, and he wanted to be out there. And there's, in my opinion, if Derek White's getting tired, there's no reason at all why JT didn't get none.
I agree totally. All right. Stephanie Washington reminded me it's Steve Kornacki in his khaki. That's so funny. That's the dude that does all the breakdowns.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. I think it was not planned, but it is interesting that you have so much talent out there. But it was like, that's weird, that's kind of curious,
Yeah.
especially because he came out right away and was like, "Oh, he's gonna play in the next game, though. Don't worry."
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. That's weird because it's just like if you did it on purpose, just say that and stand by that, or don't
Yeah, exactly.
come out like, "Oh, I don't know, I'm an idiot" type of thing.
Because he's the only one who didn't, right? I swear everybody got timed. No, I could have sworn.
I think he was the only one that got 0 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
I don't know. I want to hear what Pop says as we're talking about this, but like, Embiid looks really bad right now. Like, I mean, like in terms of just like, he looks sluggish. He looks slower than he usually does because he's not the most athletic guy. You know what I mean? But like, Embiid just looks. I don't know. He just does not look good.
Yeah, I agree. It's almost like he's a little bit out of place on this team, and like he can definitely be a dominant player. We've seen that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
He's dominant in that way of like control the pace, get him his time inside, let him work. Traditional big man style, which
for sure
it doesn't always work in different ways. And like with this team too, they can kind of run and gun. Seeing kind of like LeBron and KD working together and stuff like that, it's like I don't know, Embiid just kind of doesn't fit in there. But
yeah, he is very, like you said, he's very, very like he doesn't match the tempo of the team at all. You know what I mean? Like he keeps getting moved the whole time. Yeah, right. Yeah, I guess I could definitely see that. But yeah, you're right. And you look at some of the bigger guys they have, between himself, Bam and AD, and Bam and AD are just doing so well right now, just with the pace and the FIBA rules in general. You know what I mean? And yeah, I don't know. Like he's I don't know. He just even just for me, like he looks sluggish. Like it's not too long ago that the league was over. Granted, he wasn't in the finals or anything like that, but he just seems like he's already like out of shape. For
sure,
already out of shape.
He's like, these guys will carry me. I'm good. Oh man. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully he can be a bigger part of it, but hopefully they don't need him either. Yeah. On the USA side, Anthony West said, interesting to see the women's side USA ratings were underwhelming. Maybe Clark should have been on the team. Yeah, I definitely think that would have been cooler. Also, just in general, like to show in the Olympic stage too, like we got weapons, you know what I'm saying? Like we got more people coming up. But they're kind of letting the old guard kind of take care of that for now. But she'll definitely be in there next time. No question about it.
Definitely.
I want to welcome Grace to the show. She had a happy last Tuesday of July. Yes. It is crazy how time is flying by. Seriously. Already August later this week, which is pretty crazy.
More than half of the year already.
Yeah, for sure. It's flying by. It'll be 2025 before we know it. All right, let's switch from the Olympics and let's talk about. Oh, real quick, we should mention this. Anthony West says Greece is getting washed. Yeah, Giannis is doing his best, but there's only so much he can do.
Yeah. As a whole, Greece they have not been good. You know what I'm saying? It's really Giannis and some other dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like it's really Giannis and some other dudes.
Exactly. But it's interesting to see Paris. I should mention though, Wemby did pretty good. They had to go to OT against Japan, but still he had a pretty good game.
Yeah, he did.
And I mean he's to the way you can like knock the ball off the rim and stuff like that. Like he can definitely be impactful on defense. So. I'm curious to see him as they progress and see how far they make it. Whereas Thomas, exactly, you'd think with his brother on the team, they'd be all-stars. All right, let's switch it up and let's talk baseball real quick. I just wanted to mention there was a flurry of deals with today actually being the trade deadline. Already we've seen some teams be active: the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Orioles, which are some of the contenders, the perennial contenders. But also Randy Arozarena going from the Rays to the Mariners is pretty interesting. They got a couple people. Strizzy, I was going to ask you, like, who do you think did the most at the trade deadline as far as like setting himself up for a good playoff run?
I like the trade that the Yankees did. I like Jazz Chisholm going over there. It's another nice little hitter for them, especially in the middle of the lineup. A guy who's not exactly hitting a bunch of home runs, but you think of a guy kind of like who was their I'm drawing a name on their famous shortstop, Jeter. Derek Jeter. Yeah. So like think about Derek Jeter for so long and just being able to just hit the ball wherever he wants to hit it to bring runs in. That's kind of who Jazz reminds me of. I'm trying to think of like what were some other major ones, but I did see that there was what was the latest? There's like seven people, 3-team or three, something like that. It was like one of the latest like really big trades. I forget who it was, but I did like what the Yankees did. That's for sure.
Yeah. There was a couple big team trades. The Braves getting 2 different players back that actually contributed during the World Series year. That became a big one. Also, I think it was the one between the Dodgers and the White Sox and one other team. But yeah, there was like a couple that was like 3 teams, 7 players. Which the Dodgers, they picked up another starting pitcher and another reliever. With getting Jack Flaherty from Detroit, who was probably one of the better ones left out there at the end of the deadline. And that one actually came in just 6 minutes before the trade deadline. So pretty interesting. Like you said, Jazz Chisholm, I think he just helps the Yankees because they had such a good start to the year and then they fell off hard.
Mm-hmm.
So he helps just get them some energy back. And he already had a hit in his first game. And in his second game, he had 2 home runs. So, he can kind of bring some juice to their lineup. Another sneaky one, though, Eloy Jimenez going from the White Sox to the Orioles. So the White Sox were pretty much sellers. They've had a horrible year. So pretty much everybody was on the table. But Jimenez, if he can ever stay healthy, he's like a really good hitter. So that's kind of sneaky good for the Orioles. We'll see. Anthony West said Jazz homer tonight too. See, I think he almost just needed like a little change in for himself too.
They definitely need a little change of scenery, yes, for sure.
Yeah, Anthony Westnall says Marlins selling the farm for the 1,000th time, 10,000th time, and it's so true. It always ends up being that they're sellers, but it's crazy how they always get prospects, and then they, of course, then they just come up. This is kind of how the Royals used to be too, though. They would get these great prospects. They would come up, they would show something at the MLB level, and then they'd be traded away. And so it's so good to see the Royals actually keeping their prospects and making another run. Also, Anthony Weston mentions Royals made smaller moves. Yeah, they got a starting pitcher who I think will help out, and then they did get one more hitter. So lots of different moves, though. Definitely a flurry. So it's kind of hard to keep up with like which ones will be the most impactful, but we'll see who benefits down the stretch from those late season ads. All right. I think we'll keep it moving from there and we'll talk football. And the Hall of Fame game is actually this Thursday. So super dope, super exciting that we'll see some football back. And DJ Moore, actually of the Bears, got his big payday today. I know you're happy for him, even though it wasn't with the Panthers, but your boy got paid. He won't be playing, neither will Caleb Williams, but I did want to hear what you thought about that. 4 years, $110 million. Not too shabby.
I love it, man. I think he deserved it. Yeah, I've been saying for years like how he's such an underrated receiver in this league. Even when he was with the Panthers, I mean, just a 1,000-yard receiver every single year with the Panthers, with the constant quarterback and coaching and offensive coordinator changes. You know what I mean? So So being able to stay that consistent over a span like that is crazy. And then arguably had one of the best years of his career just last year, and that was with Justin Fields and their backup too, because Justin Fields missed a couple of games as well. So. I mean, he's a beast, man. You know what I mean? Like, he really is. He can literally beat you on the outside, in the middle. Like, he's just one of those guys where I talk about all the time as a receiver, man. Like, it's cool being the fastest guy on the field, but if you're not good at route running, it don't matter. You know what I mean? And he's one of the best route runners in the league, in my opinion, in that regard, and getting himself open. And the Bears knew what they had in him when they traded for him, and he proved it. I think he 100% earned that contract. It wasn't something that they had to, go out and fight with him about it. It was, you earned it, you deserve it. We're going to give it to you. So I'm super happy for him and his family. You know what I mean? I'm talking like I know him, but you know what I mean. Like he's got some kids and a wife as well. So shout out to the kid, man. I'm happy for him. We couldn't do it for us. You know what I'm saying? It's happy that he's being successful somewhere else. Oh, are you muted?
My bad. It was like it's like both him and McCaffrey though. You know, you got to see them go and then succeed somewhere else, but it's like you still got to root for them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Those are it's like like Pops talks about a lot of time. Those are class act guys. You know what I mean? Those are guys that are never in any trouble. They speak very well. they're always out of the press. They're always talking to the press, and they're just those guys that, like, from a franchise perspective, you know what I mean? Like, those are the type of guys that you want on your team. Guys that are never going to embarrass you or be in trouble or do stupid stuff. They're not knuckleheads, as Pops likes to say. So
exactly.
You can't help but to root for those guys, and somewhere for them, you hope they're able to get at least one Super Bowl in their time. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. And maybe we'll see it in these next 4 years. But it's really cool that his kind of contract lines up with the rookie. And that's what benefits you from playing on somebody with the rookie contract scales. Like, at least you can have extra money there. So
you got the cash right now.
Yeah, for sure. Some sad news: Rashard Penny. Only 8 seasons in the league. He's had a few significant injuries, but I know he wasn't going to be the top guy for the Panthers. But kind of going over there and hooking up with Canales again, I was hoping he would kind of have a little resurgence. But after a couple of days of camp, he retired. Which I at least the acknowledgement there of like, all right, like you feel it kind of coming back into camp, and he's like, it's not there. Like, I'm not going to go out there and do that because his heart's not in it. But what did you think about Penny retiring?
Yeah, man, it's funny. Me and my boy David, my boy, he's a Ravens fan as well. We were literally just talking about this, and guys just kind of retiring before their time because of injuries, and that's crazy. Like, I'm happy for him in the sense of, like, when you only get one body, you know what I'm saying, and when you can go out there and tell yourself, as much as I want to continue doing this because I love it, like, I think my body is telling me no, like, I can't get it done, you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah,
I know it sucks, you know what I mean? I know he probably would rather be out there, but at the same time, I think it's one of those things where, like, all right, hang it up, had some good seasons, a lot of great memories.
And while you're paid too, I mean, like, he made money, so
yeah, exactly.
I'm sure he's done, nothing crazy major, but I'm sure he's done a good job and set himself up financially where it's like you can retire at 28 and be like, I'm good. Like, that's crazy.
Dude, man, what's your Georgia boy's name, running back? He was on the Rams.
Oh, yeah, Todd Gurley.
He did an interview the other day. Dog's only 29.
Yeah, he's still so young and been out of the league for 3 years.
He was doing his interview. He was talking about just like how he knew it was wraps after the Atlanta run, and he was just like, I'm 29. He's like, I'll be 30 in December or something like that. And I was like, dang, it just feels like he's been out of the league for so many years, and dude, not even 30, bro. Like, same thing. Like, he could have arguably been one of the greatest running backs of all time. He was just so talented. And you feel for him, but then as a fan, you feel like you were robbed of some greatness. You know what I mean? Because, like, that's just how good Todd Gurley was, man. And the football is a brutal sport, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally 1 year you can be on top of everything, and the following year, injury prone, and you're never the same after that. So it's like, count your blessings, as a professional athlete. But it always sucks to see these guys, get kind of robbed of their careers, and I say the same thing about Luke all the time. Just year after year after year, leading in tackles and defensive player of the year, defensive rookie of the year, and just all those things. But we only got, like, I'll say 7 seasons out of him, even though it was 8. It's really 7.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the last year was just injury riddled. But it's like, dang, those guys, you just sucks. You never get to see them finish out a full blown career.
Yeah, absolutely. And Anthony Weston mentions Frank Gore felt like he was never. Frank, he came into the league with a bad injury, and he never got injured on the pro level. Crazy how long he lasted. Like, it's just, you look at, like, guys like him or even Adrian Peterson. Obviously, he had his injuries, but the tenure, like, the longevity of their careers is crazy.
Yeah.
Seriously. So, him and J.K. Dobbins, so much bad luck with injuries. It's crazy, though. J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards both ended up on the Chargers together.
Yeah.
I know they got the ex-Ravens OC, but it's kind of interesting that hopefully they can have some better luck over there.
I hope so. Watching the Ravens, J.K. is always so good in those, like, first 2 games. You're like, all right, finally. Then it's like the third one where it's like, oh, no, it's reps.
Something
for the season, too. It was never for a couple of games. It's for the season, too. Always season enders.
That's crazy. It's got to be so demoralizing, but that's what it does make it even better, though, when guys do get their paydays and they do get cash out with that guaranteed money, kind of like Jordan Love and Tua did. Yeah. They both got their extensions. Tua, 4 years, $212 million, which is crazy. And then Jordan Love, even crazier, 4 years, $220 million, which ties him for the top and like annual
Annually.
salary, which is $55 million a year. After basically starting off so the first 4 or 5 games of last year, and then having a great run down the stretch. But were you surprised at all by the numbers that these guys got?
The number, not necessarily, because it's just constantly going up, right? You know what I mean? Like you're our franchise, we're committing to you, and that's what it's going to cost to commit to you, really, for Jordan Love. But I did like, the kind of the struggle at the beginning because he wasn't a starter, right? Like, give him, you got to give him some time to kind of get acclimated. He made the same receivers that Rodgers was saying he couldn't play with look like all-stars, you know what I'm saying? Or Pro Bowlers, right? Like he made all those guys look so good last year. So, and let's be realistic. They should have beat the 49ers in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like it was close. It was really, really close. And, 49ers did what they did. They came back, you know what I'm saying? They were the better team, so it's not super surprising, but, they hold on to that lead and they win. So like I was talking about it last week. It's kind of early, you know what I mean, for all that money, but hats off to him. I've never been a Tua fan, you know what I'm saying? Like I see what happens. I see what happens to him when Tyreek Hill goes down for a couple of games, and it's like he's the same dude he was before Tua got to the team. Before Tyreek got to the team, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I can't remember the last time I saw an arm weaker. You know what I mean? Like, dude, it's as a receiver, it's so frustrating when you have to come back to the ball like that all the time, and that's how you get hurt. You know what I mean? Like, you're just lucky enough to have Tyreek Hill because even on the other side of Tyreek, he's got another super speedy receiver, and it's still not the same thing. Tyreek's just that good. He needs to go out and buy Tyreek, something real nice and fancy because he's really, in my opinion, making him look really, really good. But it's a lot of money for Tua as well, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'm excited for him though because at least he kind of had to earn it a little bit more than Jordan Love did. Yeah. Jordan Love had the good timing of like sitting that like length of time, you know, and kind of coming in. But Tua, he had to survive, a lot of questions, and he kind of did it. And last year he didn't get injured at all. He played all 17 games.
He had to survive.
Yeah, exactly. So, I credit him, 11 wins is great for the Dolphins. They didn't end the way they wanted to, but he had a great year over there. So I'm glad that they did pay him. Anthony Weston says, I wonder how much Aaron helped him being Jordan Love. Doesn't seem like he had the same attitude as Alex Smith had with Patrick. I'm sure Aaron Rodgers did not help Jordan Love as much as he could have or probably should have. And I think that showed in the kind of early of last year. Like he would have benefited a little bit more, been a little bit more pro ready. I feel like if he had a better mentor in front of him, obviously he had good coaching, but I definitely think Aaron Rodgers doesn't have that same type of mentality where it's like Alex Smith was a consummate professional, and he's always like going to do what's best for the team, not necessarily himself, which, I don't know if you can say that about Rodgers.
It's crazy because the type of mentor you would hope for him to be in Green Bay, he was in for the Jets.
For Wilson, right?
Yeah, for Wilson. Like you just constantly saw him every week sticking up for him, helping him, actually mentoring him, on the sidelines and things of that nature. And it's just like, why? It's like, I get you might have been frustrated with the front office, but the front office has nothing to do with Jordan Love. You know what I mean?
Right.
Be there for him. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's kind of wild.
Yeah. No, I feel you. Real quick before we keep it moving, though, I did want to put this out there. Anthony Weston mentioned this one. This was too funny. I don't know if you saw this, but the Raiders. Well, it wasn't exactly the Raiders player, right? But a Raiders player grabbed it. But one of the fans had brought this this Kermit dressed up like Patrick Mahomes because they were comparing his Patrick Mahomes' voice to Kermit's voice. Yeah. I just thought it was pretty funny. I actually think the Kermit doll with the curls actually looks pretty dope. Like that's pretty funny to me. But that's gonna be more fuel to Mahomes' fire. But also Anthony mentioning he's 11th on the QB paid list now. And they did ask him about it. Of course, they got to ask him about it, hoping to get a soundbite. But he's like, look, I'm not underpaid. Like, I know what's going on. And he has the team around him still. But, when it comes time, he's going to be the number one paid again. He's just going to be looking at those contracts, and now he's going to be the first one to go up to 60 million or whatever it is.
Oh, for sure. And you got to remember too, like with him, he took the Tom Brady route, right? I'm gonna take less money so they can keep talent around me, and it's a 10-year contract. You know what I'm saying? Like he got a baseball contract. You know what I mean? Like literally. So he's locked in for a really long time, and when the time comes, he'll get more money. He's not going to see the end of that contract. You know what I'm saying? Like he's going to get another one in the meantime.
Yeah, I feel you. He's definitely. I mean, it'll be probably another 2 years, and then he'll reset the market again. But he knows he's good. You know, he has nothing to worry about. Anthony West said it will get handled when it gets handled. Yeah, but regarding the puppet, they did ask him about that as well, and he's like, "Oh, it'll be handled when we handle it." But I kind of think it's cool, man. Like honestly, especially with training camps and stuff like that, like the Raiders got to poke fun. Obviously, they're not at the same level as the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going for a three-peat to try to make NFL history,
For reals.
But they got to have their fun, and I actually think it's kind of dope. So I don't know. He's definitely unfazed about his money though, for sure, and I think the Kermit dolls too. But I thought it was pretty dope. All right. Next thing I did want to talk about really quickly is it will be the Hall of Fame enshrinement this weekend. So Hall of Fame game on Thursday kind of kicks off the weekend, and then on Saturday you'll have the inductees going in here. And I wanted to just take a look one more time at the class of 2024, and I wanted to see, and Strizzy, I don't know if for sure on your answer, but you being a Panthers fan maybe, but I just wanted to see from you and also from the Slackers which player out here was like your favorite to watch of the inductees?
Say that again? My bad.
No, I was saying like which one of these players was your favorite to watch? Like your favorite out of like if you had to pick your favorite. Which it's funny, like while you think about that, like it's funny how it's starting to make me feel a lot older, right? Because most of these guys that are being enshrined, like we actually watched their whole career versus like coming up as a youngster, like most of the guys we really didn't watch and see, like, but I feel like this is a more modern class for sure.
I didn't even see the list. Who's on the list?
Oh, so it's it's these guys right here: Dwight Freeney, Devin Hester, Andre Johnson, Julius Peppers, Patrick Willis.
Oh yeah, the that's what I was asking. The slide hasn't moved for me. I still have.
Oh, it didn't move?
No.
Oh, that's weird.
That's why I was like, I don't see the list.
Oh, yeah. Let me read it one more time. I see it though. I think we'll have to see if the Slackers see it. Dwight Freeney, Randy Gradshear, Devin Hester, Andre Johnson, Steve McMichael, Julius Peppers, and Patrick Willis.
Oh, Julius Peppers, without a doubt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you talk. I mean, I've always been an offensive guy because that's what I played primarily. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
so in that sense, I'd say Andre Johnson was really, really fun to watch. He was a beast for a receiver too. But man, Julius Peppers just, he's just an absolute monster. So much so that even like so late in his career, he was still able to play on a bunch of different teams, even for like, even if it was just third down things, first and third type stuff. He was my favorite to watch of this group for sure.
That's what's up. I'll see if I can get the slides to go back. I think when I messed with it, when I put Kermit on there, it kind of messed it up. We'll see. What do you see now?
Yeah, now I see it.
Okay, cool.
Now I see it, yeah.
All right, sweet. That's what's up. But yeah, I figured it would probably be Julius Peppers. I don't know. For me, I feel like maybe Patrick Willis.
He's my second.
Yeah, I mean, I just think he's like he was so dope and such a beast linebacker. But obviously, I love Andre Johnson. Devin Hester, I don't know if he's like. I mean, obviously, he impacted the game. It's kind of sneaky for him to get in as a returner, but obviously, he had some electric plays.
Right.
So, yeah. So that will be. Oh, they didn't see Kermit either. Dang. Okay, we'll have to go back. I'll have to show him Kermit too. But yeah, definitely. Slackers, let us know which one of these players were your favorite as well. And I don't know if that was just a StreamYard glitch. I apologize for that, but after I kind of reshared it seems like it works now. Anthony Weston said Hester. Yeah, I mean, he was dope. Like, definitely impacted the game. But Pops agrees with me. Hester doesn't belong, he said.
I've always felt that way. I get he was to me, like, you know, it's one of those things where it's like you've never really seen a returner like that. You know what I mean? Like that explosive.
Yeah.
But it's like when they moved him to like wide receiver, just completely inadequate. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's just like, you know, it was like that was all he was good for was returning kicks and punts. And it's like I almost feel like they changed the rule. I know they say safety, but it's like, you know, would even be the same if he was still doing it back then. Because all we see now are touchbacks. You know what I'm saying? But
true.
I don't know. It's just like I understand how good he was. I understand like yes, in regards to returning kicks, but you know when I think of Hall of Fame and everything else that you know the other guys have to do to get there, it's like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, I feel you. Mom says Peppers was her favorite.
He was
definitely was a beast.
He was so good at getting to the quarterback, dude. Like he was so freaking good.
All right, let's see if you guys can see Kermit. Is it changing now?
Yeah, I see it now.
Okay. Stephanie Washington, thank you for throwing Kermit in the chat too. But yeah, so that's what he looked like, Kermit with the little curls. Stephanie said Peppers for her too. Anthony West said, do you think they should have levels in the Hall of Fame? I think that's a great idea because the longer the Hall of Fame goes, they have to keep putting people in there, right?
For reals.
So maybe you should have tiers, like, you know what I'm saying, like your gold, bronze, like that, kind of like the Olympics. So,
yeah, right.
And like even when you go there, that'd be tight if you have to go to like the third floor, like you go higher up, there's like less people up there or something like that. That would be gangster.
That would be dope because there's always, you know, there's dudes you always love to see get in. You know what I mean? And then there are your guys that are like, no, it's first ballot. It doesn't matter who's on the ballot with them. They're in. You know what I'm saying? But
maybe that'd be a good way to celebrate it, like all the first ballots somewhere else at least.
Right.
Pop said, "Will 37 make the team?" Probably not. And if he does, then Patrick Mahomes is going to have something for him because I think he is a DB. So, Oh, Kelly said Hall of Fame by eras. That'd be cool. You could kind of separate it out. You know, leather helmet era. You know, the hard nose era, the '90s. You know what I'm saying? The pre-merger. You know, stuff like that. That would be kind of cool.
It's an all Hall of Fame, first, second, and third team. That's funny.
Yeah. Something like that would be pretty cool. Just to kind of switch it out. Mom said, "Don't disrespect Kermit." Pop says Raiders are poking the beast, and their coach is an idiot. They can rattle the man. Grow up. They'll be hearing his voice in their nightmares as they miss the playoffs.
For sure. For sure.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
We gotta be careful because I know he's like itching to get back on the field with all the issues and all the off the field issues that the Chiefs have had. You know what I'm saying? This offseason.
Yeah.
So yeah. I wouldn't don't poke the bear. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Take it out on somebody and might as well be the Raiders.
For sure. Mom said it was amazing to go there, and it definitely was. The Hall of Fame, if you ever get a chance, is really cool. The NFL Hall of Fame. There's a lot of like interactive stuff you can do. And then obviously they have the area where all the busts are. So that was pretty cool though. I'm glad that her and I got to go there. I still need to make like a video or a reel about that because I have a bunch of footage from it on my phone, but just never kind of did anything with that. But that was a lot of fun. We got to go there together. The smell of cigar and champagne from the championship is still in their locker room. That was so funny. The Hall of Fame experience. Yeah, it was super cool.
That's crazy.
Pepper's start to his career disappointed me with being a Michigan man. He did great, though. He did great.
Yeah, no, he had an absolutely phenomenal career. And I was really happy to see him retire a Panther, too. So that was great.
I'm going to have to look this up. Pop says Billy White Juice Johnson in all of it. Oh, that's too funny. Greatest returner ever. All right. So while we're doing that, though, I think the only last thing we have a couple of schedules if you want to try to knock one or two out.
Yeah,
I have the Packers up here, which I feel like we could do that with Jordan Love's contract and them getting Josh Jacobs. I think is pretty interesting.
I think it's a big deal. But like, I also don't want to, take out the running back they still have because he's he's a beast too. So I think that's a solid 1-2 punch, man. Very solid 1-2 punch.
Yeah, I know they're gonna be. I think they're gonna be really good with that.
Fine.
Let me see if he is in the Hall of Fame. He was a semifinalist. He's not in the Pro Hall of Fame. Dang. So maybe Hester will break the way for him to get in. Billy White Shoes Johnson. Okay. Eagles week 1 in Brazil.
Week 1 in Brazil. Week 1. Loss? I don't know. That's a tough one. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna say dub. I'm gonna say dub on that one. I think they're gonna win the first game.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah,
I can see that. It's still so funny to me that neither team can wear their green like while they're out there, like because of the gang war, the gang violence. That's crazy. But I can see them winning that first game.
You know what's funny? It's such a coin flip for this one, man. And the reason why I say that is because like both franchises are bigger NFL franchises. You know what I mean? And you go out to a different country in a sense, and the NFL wants to bring more people in. So nice little first game there, but that's a toss up. I don't know, man. Eagles have Saquon now too.
True.
I lied. I think I'm going back to Eagles. I think I'm going back to Eagles. I think Eagles might win it.
Okay. All right, we'll start them off with the loss there. I'm kind of with you though. It's kind of a toss up for me, but week 2 against the Colts, and they're I don't know which one is green. Is home or away?
I know I can't tell. I still think they win that game though.
Yeah, I think green is home.
Anthony Richardson hasn't played since early last season. I'll be so glad to see him, back on the field again. But I think they lose. He's got to get some kinks out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's go week 3 away at the Titans.
I think that's a dub too. Titans got to prove to me before I start really picking them to win.
Yeah,
bigger
and
games.
they're kind of turning things around, so it might take them a little while.
Yeah.
Okay, week 4 at home against Minnesota. I think they should win that because we don't know what their quarterback situation.
Exactly. It's kind of the same thing with not necessarily the same thing with Titans. I think the Vikings have a better team right now, regardless. But like you said, quarterback situation is still figuring things out. So I feel like the dub there too.
Got you. Okay, now let's go at the Rams, at the LA Rams.
I think an L. I think Rams win the home.
I got you. I'm with you on that one. That one's kind of a tricky one, but I think
it is.
Yeah.
It's a toss-up game. Both teams are pretty equal. So I don't know. But I'm taking the Rams.
And the Rams are kind of going to be on a vengeance tour. I feel like this year.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, week 6 at home against the Cardinals. That's definitely a dub.
Dub.
No question. Week 7. Week 7 at home against the Texans.
Ooh. Just for being a better team, I'm gonna take the Texans. I think the Texans overall right now, they have a phenomenal defensive-minded coach, and then the offense that literally should be able to keep up with everybody.
Yeah, I feel you. I like the Texans in that one. Now let's say away at the Jaguars.
Green Bay. That's a dub to me.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're at 5-3 so far. Now they have to play at home against the Lions. I feel like they're going to split against the Lions.
Yeah, me too. I think the winner of this division is going to be between them by like one game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take that. If this is at home, I'll take Green Bay.
Okay, we'll take Green Bay in that one. And then they go into their bye week. Now week 11 away against the Bears.
Still own the Bears.
Yeah, I think they're still fine against the Bears.
Yeah.
At home against San Francisco. I think that's a tough one. I think that's a loss.
I do too. I'd love to say payback game, but Niners are just still so good.
Yeah.
Coaching. Really yeah.
At home against the Dolphins.
Ooh, it's a short week.
Yeah, that's going to be on Thanksgiving, I think.
They'll still win though because Dolphins can't beat good teams.
I feel you. Well, that might be Thanksgiving or the week after Thanksgiving, but I think that's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it is. Look, the Sunday game is November 24th and that game is November 28th. So they're really both playing on a short week unless the Dolphins are coming off a bye.
Yeah.
But I still think they're going to win.
Okay. At Detroit, were we saying loss for that one?
Yeah.
Okay. At Seattle, that's an interesting game, but
Is that a home at Seattle?
I think it's at Seattle.
I said home at Seattle. I'm in away at Seattle.
Yeah. No, you're good.
It's hard because we don't know. I'm saying W because we know more about Green Bay than we do about Seattle.
Yeah.
New coach. I'm guessing same quarterback, but I don't know. So I'm taking the dub.
Okay. At home against the Saints, I feel like they got that.
Beat the Saints, the most underwhelming team, underperforming team.
Right. Away at the Vikings. I still feel like they'll beat the Vikings.
I know. Oh my God. Yeah. It's like it's another one of those things where it's like we know more about Green Bay right now than we do about the Vikings too.
What about the Bears at home the last week?
Man, they might. I think they could. You know, it's funny. Like Green Bay has literally owned the Bears for I don't even know how many years. All of Rodgers' tenure for sure. That's kind of been the running joke, right?
Right.
But I think they might slip up and give them one. You know what I mean? I think this might be the year where they kind of take them, and even week 18. You know, what I mean? It might not even matter for Green Bay, but
yeah.
But yeah, I think they might split. I think Green Bay. I think the Bears might get one.
Sneak up and get one.
Yeah.
I like that. So that puts them at 11-6. I think that's really still really solid for them.
Yeah, and honestly, I think the Lions do win the division again. I think Green Bay again will be fun to watch again, but I think Lions still have the division in my opinion. I think Lions win 12 games maybe. So I think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be decided by like 1.
Yeah, for sure. I think the Vikings are gonna go down.
Yeah.
You want to try to knock out one more real quick?
Yeah, we have some time. A little extra
time. You want the Browns, the Falcons, or the Broncos?
Still the Broncos. That should be the easy one.
Okay. All right. So at Seattle, that's a
loss.
Yeah. Loss. Hold on, let me get their little tallies ready. Okay. At home against the Steelers.
Big time loss.
It's a loss too.
Russell Wilson coming back with a vengeance, dog.
As long as he's the starter.
True.
At Tampa Bay Bucks.
They lost Canales, but that's lost. They still don't have the talent to beat them.
Right. And this is going to be a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
At the Jets.
Loss.
Another loss. At home against the Raiders. Maybe.
At home? Maybe that's where they get their first W?
I don't know.
I'm looking down to see who they're gonna beat, and I'm like, they're not gonna go.
They're gonna get one of these, either the Raiders or the Chargers. One of those two, I think.
True.
I feel like it might be they lose the Raiders and then they beat the Chargers, because the Chargers are coming with a new coach and everything. I don't know.
Very true. I feel like Chargers coaching might actually have them on.
But yeah, true. I think they still lost then. So I think they lose week 5 and they lose week 6. Now they're going away to the Saints on Thursday Night Football. Maybe they sneak and get that one.
Yeah, they can sneak a win with the Saints. Orange is home, right?
No, Orange is actually away this time, so that's at the Saints.
Oh yeah, I think they can win that game.
I don't know. Either that or what about your Panthers?
Nah, I refuse to say out loud them beating the Panthers.
Okay.
By week 8, I think we should be. I think we beat them, honestly.
Okay, so we'll say they win that game against the Saints. so they can get their first dub, and then they lose against the Panthers. Now they're playing the Ravens. That's a loss.
That's a smack. They get murdered.
Now then they go away at the Chiefs. That's
murdered there too. It's back to back.
Another beat down.
Yep.
Now they're playing at home against the Falcons.
I feel like Falcons are gonna be better this year, though. I think
they do got Carr.
I think they win the NFC South.
Okay. Now you got away at the Raiders.
We said loss, right? Last time we said 2 losses about that.
Yeah. Do you think they'll split with the Raiders?
Yeah, maybe they split with the Raiders.
Okay, we'll give them that one. Week 13, Monday Night Football at home against the Browns.
No, getting beat down there too.
Yeah. In the Battle of the Oranges, I think that the Browns beat them down.
I just realized how many really tough defenses Bo Nix going to have to go against this year. He's about to get
this is
handled.
A one. Yeah, this is a tough one.
Oh yeah, dude.
Because they have to play they have to play the AFC North, which this is who the Cowboys have to play too. You know, Steelers, Browns. That's tough sledding.
Yeah, Ravens, Chiefs twice. Even even with the Panthers not being really good at all last year, the defense was still top 3.
Yeah.
So it's like you still got to go against their defense too. It's kind of crazy.
They're actually kind of lucky they're playing the NFC South. That gives them a little bit of a chance on the other end.
Gives them some cushion press for sure.
All right, let's see here. We're at week 15, home against the Colts.
Colts win. I think they already have a solid team. And I think by week 15, Anthony Richardson get that rust off if he's healthy still.
Yeah. Okay, at the Chargers.
No, not at San Diego.
Away at the Bengals. No, that's a late one. That's a tough one too.
I know. It just depends. The AFC North is so competitive.
And then the last game is home against the Chiefs.
They ain't splitting the Chiefs either.
Dang.
Did we give them 2?
So we got them at 2-15, which is what Anthony said as well. But he said their only wins will be against the Raiders.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the Raiders will split. I don't know. It's funny because it's like I just think they're gonna be really bad. I think who knows? Maybe they're better than what we think they're gonna be, but like I just feel the way they handled things last year. I think they're in for a rough season.
Yeah, this is gonna be their karma year.
Yeah, if I think it's a karma year, I think that's gonna be really bad. They do have a real schedule. I agree with Anthony. Like you said, lucky for them, they play the NFC South, but I'm like, there's still a lot of really good defenses. Falcons are going to be a lot better, way better this year, I think, than they were last year. I think Panthers are going to be a lot better this year. They're not going to win a ton of games, but they're definitely going to win more than, 2 or one game or whatever was they won last year.
Yeah.
And then obviously you got to play their defense. But Baltimore, KC twice. I think Chargers are going to be better. I think the Jets are going to be better. Their defense is always solid. Steelers, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough one.
It's a rough schedule for a bad team.
You're
They
right.
weren't good last year either. Yeah, now we got a great quarterback.
Exactly. All right, that's what's up. We'll leave it right there. We got some more, obviously some more teams to do, but we'll keep rolling through and throwing these in there to get us hyped up for the NFL season. And again, apologies about the slides. I don't know when they froze up or whatever, but
You're good.
But it happens out here on the interwebs
Okay.
sometimes, but we're making it work. Again, we appreciate you rocking with us. But as we kind of draw near, going to try to be better about the Olympic schedule and check out some more. But we'll be back with that. Big shout out to our brother, man, Marcus, as always. We love you, brother. We're with you. Thank you guys for rocking with us. Next week is episode 258. And until then, it's your boy A-Dub.
And your boy Strizzy.
Peace.